New on Curiosity Stream.
With my infrared drone, I can see what others can't.
Drone pilot Doug Thron uses his bird's eye view for the ultimate good, saving animals from desperate situations around the globe. Join the rescue effort on a new season of Doug to the Rescue. And
You captured a Confederate steamboat?
We're taking the ship to freedom.
an enslaved crew, a stolen vessel, and a Civil War dash to salvation on impossible escapes. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Imagine moving from one part of your country to another for a new job.
All right.
Driving more than 3,000 kilometers. It's at about
1,864 miles, and in no way did I Google that earlier.
Along with your wife and a little child, and a hope that a new life awaits you at that destination. Then imagine getting fired just 2 hours later after you joined. The reason you are given is you are too fat. That heartbreaking situation is what Hamish Griffin and his wife Hazel and their son Freddie had to go through when the Griffin couple were fired by their employer in Tasmania. Big Four Holiday Parks. That is a recreation park network in Australia. ABC News reported, I was told I couldn't do the job because I was too fat. I was told I wouldn't be able to push a lawnmower or climb a ladder. And added that while he was working in the park and helping to move a sofa, he heard that remark. Griffin said he was the park manager in Queensland for 8 years. Moreover, the job that he was hired for was not as a groundskeeper or a maintenance operator, but was a management position. Talking to ABC, he said he understood that in urgent situations, when the park is short-staffed, he might need to help with moving things around as well, but he'd been doing that for 8 years in harsher conditions on a bigger property. Griffin found the employer's decision shocking because he had given video interviews to his employer and had sent photos of himself and his family and everything else. The park owners said the reason for firing him was that he withheld a health condition. Either way, according to Griffin, there was no reason to explicitly tell the employers about him being overweight as a reason to let him go. Our question, why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
A couple of quick comments here. It says about 15 years ago, a female trucker I worked with, she got fired for showing the goods out the window while driving on I-82 near Yakima. Now, I understand you're not supposed to do that, but I do feel like when you get to Yakima, you got to loosen rules a little.
Game over.
If you're going to do it anywhere, it's like, yeah, it's Yakima. Who cares?
Enjoy it, Yakima.
And someone else says, I worked at a collision shop in the north part of Seattle on Aurora, near the prostitutes. He didn't say that. I'm just adding that because you know it's true. Says, I was the paint prepper, and a new employee who started that week went to the paint booth and started smoking inside. Keep in mind, this is the paint prepper. So naturally, the fire deterrent sprayed everywhere in that part of the shop. Luckily, the cars were dry and did not need to be fixed. They just needed to be washed. He was fired on the spot, and I'm not really sure if he was fined or not. Don't set off a sprinkler system, man. Yeah. Didn't you guys did it, Miles, at your, old studio, throwing a football or something?
Oh, yeah. It was not me. I mean, I was throwing the football. But
Every story does not involve you.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me with the air and throw.
Did anyone get fired for it?
No.
That is amazing.
No, they fired us for no reason about 3 weeks later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they knew they were going to fire you.
They
Said,
fired
let's
us
wait
because
it out.
they thought that a genius idea would be to take a rock station off the air and put on Kenny G, John Tesh, and smooth jazz. Yeah. Because one thing the people of Baltimore were really clamoring for was a smooth jazz station to come in and take over their Steve Miller band.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you know when you go to their house like, oh man, you are really a smooth jazz aficionado? Why do I always hear you playing smooth jazz when I come over to your house? Grocery stores don't play smooth jazz. Hospitals don't play smooth jazz. Nobody plays smooth jazz. But this is their idea, to get rid of you and put your family on the streets because Kenny G's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, radio. God almighty. Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Ted. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
So anyway, I was just turning 21 back in the late 80s, and my boss offered, he liked me, so he offered to take me out for dinner and drinks. That was on my birthday. So we go out, we have a good steak, bunch of drinks, takes me home. My buddy comes and picks me up later. We go out and have a couple more drinks. I go home. In the morning, I'm not a drinker, so I feel like crap. And I call in and say, hey, I can't make it. He fired me.
So wait, he took you out for drinks at dinner, had a good time, and then you called in the next day.
Exactly. He called me, got me all lubed up with like 4 or 5 hard licks and a beer or 2, and then fired me for calling in because I didn't feel good.
What kind of job was it?
I was at it was a car stereo store in Tacoma.
Were you installing or were you doing on the floor?
I was sales.
All right.
It's tough to go out drinking with the boss, though, then call in sick the next day.
Because he's there.
Right. Because he's right.
He initiated it, though. He's the one that...
I get it. I'm just saying the problem is, right, is like, if you all go out, then, like, you can't be the one person who doesn't show up.
Well, it was only me and him that went out.
Right. Right. It could have been 4 more people. And whoever else did not show up to work, who he paid for drinks for, even if it wasn't their birthday, they would have been fired as well.
Right.
Yeah. That's just the way it works, man.
You got
to. Well, and granted, you were younger at the time.
Yeah.
But as you know, as time goes on, you just got to fight through it, man up and do your damn job. It doesn't matter how bad, unless you're absolutely sick for a reason that is because you're sick, not because you put it on the night before. If you're legitimately sick, don't come into work and get everyone else sick.
Yeah, it's always been a rule. Like, I don't care what you do when you leave, right? But if it's and look, we have come in and there's days you're like, man, you look real bad. But the point is, like, I did it myself. I stayed up till 4. I got up at 6:30. Here I am.
We used to have our head down.
I'm peeing myself. I'm going to be in tears soon, but we got to do what we got to do.
Our head is down on the board during commercial breaks. We haven't talked to each other all day. We're just miserable. We've thrown up.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's happened more than you know.
Yeah. Thrown up 2 or 3 times before we go on the air. Just absolutely. I mean, you're just dehydrated. You feel like crap. Hell, that happened to me a couple months ago. Not because of drinking, just because I was sick.
Yeah,
but again, puking up a storm.
That was always my thing with Charlie Sheen when he was going through his Tiger Blood stuff. I'm like, look, I'm not saying he's a good guy. He's obviously on a lot of stuff, but he keeps showing up on time for work. So whatever you think of the guy, right, he's where he needs to be when he needs to be there. Is he a pain to work with? Probably. But at least he's there, right? That's always my thing. Because that time Lindsay Lohan was doing her thing, and I'm like, but here's the difference. Lindsay Lohan's getting all high, getting all drunk. And again, I don't care, but she's showing up late for the set, right? You're holding other people. I'm like, Charlie Sheen, if nothing else, I'm sure he's a disaster when he gets there. That's why but he's there.
Look, that's why the director of the new Fast and the Furious Vin Diesel franchise quit.
Right, because Vin Diesel.
They hired that guy.
Doesn't show up.
They're going to pay him $10 million. He doesn't show up on time. He's late all the time when he does show up, and he doesn't know his lines.
Doesn't know, right.
I'm going to pass on $10 million to make this movie because of this guy. I don't want to deal with it.
And as far as I know, it's not because he's like getting hammered and partying and all that.
No, it's just because he can.
He just shows up. But apparently the other actors, their beef with him is just he never knows his lines, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's there and he shows up and he's constantly just, line, like the guy in the Liberty Mutual commercial.
Oh, yeah. The struggling actor?
Yeah, basically, that's Vin Diesel.
Are we stuck with Liberty Mutual?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual.
Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Edward. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
So the one time I've been fired, I think I was about 17 or 18, but I was working at Burger King, and a friend of mine was working there with me, and he had decided to help himself because he was working the register. So he decided he wasn't getting paid enough, so he took the money from the register and then left. And then I wouldn't sign a piece of paper telling on him, so they fired me.
Well, were you supposed to corroborate this with him? Because if you didn't see him do this, or if he didn't tell you he did this, how would you really know he did it?
Standing right next to him, and he's like, bro, I'm out of here, and I'm going to take the money because they don't pay us enough. And, I mean, what? I was 17, almost 18.
What year was this?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it ain't my business.
Yeah, well, what year was this? Do you remember what year it was? Take your birth date and add 17 to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for here. Let's go with 80.
Mid-80s.
86? So you were wearing the brown uniforms. Well, I worked there for 2 weeks. It was $3.35 an hour in the state that I was employed.
I think I was making, I think it was $3.35 an hour in California at that time.
That was the minimum wage, so that's what we got.
Yeah, so that's probably what I was making.
I was there with you. I went to BKU as well. And that's the job that I got fired at because they changed the schedule but didn't call anybody to tell them. No, in defense of Burger King, They very well could have called the landline phone in my home with 7 roommates, told somebody that the schedule had changed, and to pass that on to me. And based on the fact that sometimes I didn't see my roommates for days.
This is the first time I've ever even heard you hazard
for 17 years.
I always think about it. I always try to give one out to him. I think there.
No, you've never. Not one time.
He said it's my job. When he told me it's my job to come in and check the schedule, I'm like, even on days where I'm not working. He's like, yes. I'm thought, well, look, if that's the rules, then this is never going to work out.
Right.
So I'm never going to come in every day on my day off to see if
I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, to see if you've changed the schedule. So if that's the way you work, this is not going to work out because I ain't a mind reader.
Right.
So he could have called.
But they could have called.
He might
You have never even remotely put that forward.
But they could have.
Well, they could have.
You know who would have called? Goddamn McDonald's.
Yeah, that's right.
Wendy's would have.
Ronald
Arby's
himself.
would have. Taco Bell would have. They would all call.
You have to work.
Burger King, no, they didn't call.
The Hat would have called.
That's right. Why were you or someone else fired?
The Hat. Bring your ass in and sling the roast beef.
Is this Pharrell? 206-421-ROCK.
Yes. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
How you boys doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks, brother.
Right on. I got fired from a casino.
What did you do?
Well, I was a poker dealer, so most of the casinos you walk into now, you got table games, craps, blackjack, yada yada yada. I was a poker dealer. And I would say that the poker industry, casino industry, is tighter than the banking industry. And they thought I was stealing.
Were they right?
No.
Why did they think you were stealing? Because you're right, casinos seem exceptionally accountable for their money.
Absolutely. So as a poker dealer, you carry around your own bank, $200, $300, $400 in chips, and you sell them at the table. And they thought I was taking money out of the pot or out of the drop and putting it in my pocket.
And if this wasn't the case, how much? It's got to be easy to go get another job someplace. There's a ton of poker rooms. There's a ton of casinos in the area, and if you are a good poker dealer.
You're absolutely right. I was like top 10 in the state, and they said because my bank was off one night out of 9 months, they fired me.
How much was the bank off? How much money was it off?
I was told $1.
$1.
$1.
Wow.
Wait a minute. So did you say you guys are accusing me of stealing, and you think that if I'm going to try to get over on a casino that I stole, that I'm going to put my job up and my reputation on the line for $1. Like, that's what you're telling me.
You could have got a 4-piece McNugget.
I really didn't get the chance to explain. What they came to me with was your bank was off, so we're going to take your gaming license away from you until you prove otherwise. I actually got locked up by King County, put in jail for a night. I had to hire an attorney, spent $5,000 on an attorney.
Wait, for $1?
For $1. Like I said, it's tighter than the banking industry. And from that day forward, I never dealt another hand of poker again.
I wouldn't either. Do you think that they just did not like you? I just find it hard to believe that a casino, any job, would think that you're going to put your reputation on the line or lose your livelihood over $1.
Trill, it's funny you asked that. I'm 100% with you. That the gaming industry is a very cutthroat industry. You get the hours that make the house money, but it's also about who's sitting there in the table. I'm 6'5". I'm ugly as all get out, and there were 3 ladies that had just had their front ends done that were willing to unbutton that top shirt, that the top button on their shirt.
Yeah, I was going to say, it had to be pre-planned, man. There's no way you get fired over $1.
No, and I 100% believe it was all self-motivated, but really...
Well, look, you can make a mistake to you say something inappropriate to someone. That's not jail-worthy. Right. That's not $5,000 in an attorney worthy. That is HR. You're fired. Get out of here. And we want our $1. We want our $1 back. That's what that is. You're not good on the floor because you say things to people you shouldn't. That's all that is.
Yeah. No.
All the rest is crap.
That's the crazy part about it. Like, when I say the banking industry and the casino industry, they're tight about it. It's a cutthroat industry. That's what they do. They're who's going to make the house the more, more money.
Look, but if they tried to level with you, look, either we're going to cut your hours or whatever, not going to be happy about it, but it's like a restaurant, right? Now, if I'm running a restaurant and you and one of these newly breast-enhanced women rolls in and wants the role of host or hostess, by your own estimate, 6'5" and ugly, you're not getting the gig, man. I mean, there's no way. But you understand that as well. I feel like it'd be better just to say, hey, Ryan, look, man, you're a great dealer, but we got hot chicks, right?
You're right. Well, so the casino fired me based on what the gaming industry told me, or they took away my license. So
okay.
It's like going to get your concealed carry for a gun, If you can't pass the government background check, you can't carry.
Right. So what does a 6'5" ugly dude do for employment now that you've lost a gig?
He bounces at the same casino.
What do you do now?
Hey, calm down. No, I'm a UPS driver now.
Oh, sweet.
6'5" and the short shorts, and everybody's looking forward to seeing me come in.
I was going to say, so now does the UPS uniform, because women say they're attracted to that, does that up your status a little bit? You're a big UPS guy.
100%, yeah.
Okay, so now you're not ugly anymore, just based on one job.
No, and I can prove my income on a W-2.
Oh, yeah, that goes a long way, for sure.
That's not bad.
It's amazing to me that a brown uniform is the one that gets them.
Yeah.
I mean, UPS, they have the ugliest uniforms out there, right? You look like a big turd. You're like that poop emoji walking down the street, but for whatever reason, man, oh man.
I think it's built in, though. There's such a lore of it and this and that it looks more attractive.
Well, look, maybe but I remember everywhere I've worked where there's a reception desk, a radio, a couple of different restaurants, you always got the same UPS guys, right? Because you're on the same route. But I swear to God, every time they came in, you'd see the women up front, whether they had they're licking their eyebrows real quick or making sure their hair, because they see him walking down the hall, and it was just some ugly dude, but he'd always kind of lean on the desk, chat him up. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
My grandfather, he retired when he was 65 years old from the United States Mail Postal Service. With his route, walking every day, picking stuff up, lifting, he never went to the gym a day in his life.
Sure.
His calves were jacked.
Yeah.
He was a ripped dude just by doing his job.
Were chicks digging him?
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I don't think who knows?
You don't know.
You don't.
You're not going to tell your grandson.
Right.
Miles, come here. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, about the old lady down
there. You know why Grandma left?
Yeah.
Because I was a UPS man.
Taking a long lunch today, if you know what I mean.
I deliver all kinds of packages. It's not always the mail. Do you understand me?
Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Tim. Welcome to the men's room.
What's happening, guys?
Hola.
So, about 19 years ago, I was working and I cut my thumb and had to have surgery on my thumb. So they put me in a brace for 9 months. So it healed correctly and I could use my thumb like a normal person. And 2 weeks prior to that, they switched our pay structure from hourly to piecework.
All right.
What does that mean?
When I injured myself, I'm sorry?
So what does that mean? You said piecework?
Yeah, instead of paying you by the hour, they pay you per, I was a window installer. They would pay you per window instead of hourly.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I injured myself, and I was down to one good thumb, so I wasn't making any money. So I went to my boss, and I'm like, hey, man, I've made your company a ton of cash. Do me this solid and put me back hourly until my thumb heals. And he told me no. And I lost my temper and blew up in his face like our noses were touching, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, all kinds of expletives that I can't say on your show. So after I left, he called me and fired me.
That'll do it.
It was probably because I made him look like kind of like...
Oh, there it was.
Once again, Benjamin Colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
Our question, why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Mike Castle coming up. We'll spin 10 songs you did not know were written about a celebrity. Mm-hmm. It's a regular old song. Half the time, I don't even know what songs are about anyway. I gotta be honest with you. Whatever song it is, I'm like, I think this is what they mean, but I've got no idea.
I really don't.
Favorite bands, never looked into it. Do I like the beat? Do I like the hook?
That's it, right?
It can be some songs you really like, then you find out that they're really about, and it's dark.
It kind of ruins the song.
Yeah. That's what we found out. Like, it took me out. Look, I listened to Phil Collins my entire life.
All right.
I love Phil Collins. Now, the older I get, people point out, like, you don't know how dark and disturbing these lyrics are on every single song. It's like his heart was broken his entire life. And you go back, with the exception of, like, Sister Studio, but still, like, I got a girl that's on my mind all the time. It's always about a chick.
It was like 8 years ago. We did a sit and spin about Phil Collins songs, and it like kind of changed the way you view them.
Everything.
Like, this is dark as hell.
Yeah, that's an angry dude.
Sounds happy, but man, it's not.
He's as angry as his forehead is big.
Mm-hmm, yeah. But today, we have 10 songs that you did not know were written about a celebrity. That's coming up after emails on our question. Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Danny. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so about 20 years ago or whatever, I had gotten emancipated. I was like 18, or 17, living on my own, and I worked in telemarketing, and my phone had broken, so I was picking up the one next to it. I was working for a company. We were just trying to get people to go to these timeshare presentations. You got 4 nights in a hotel or whatever in California. So anyways, I was lucky enough to get in the incoming calls department, and anyway, my phone broke, so I was picking up the one next to it. And this woman across from me, she sees that I'm doing this, and she thinks I'm like trying to work 2 phones at once, and so she's just yapping in my ear, "You can't do that, you can't do that." And I'm being professional. I put the call on hold, and I go, "You stupid mullet-haired bitch, I'm not picking up 2 phones. Mine is broken." And everybody's laughing. I got called into the boss's office. He's like, "That is the funniest thing I've ever seen, but unfortunately, you can't call someone a bitch in today's work environment to keep your job."
So he thought it was funny, but he had to let you go.
The good news is you were one last person who called someone about a timeshare.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yep. So.
God almighty.
Yeah.
What a racket that. Have you, not knowing what you know about that, would you ever get involved with a timeshare?
No. Well, I didn't know anything about it because my job wasn't to deal with anything other than
getting them in.
You put your name in a box at the fair to win, a vacation. This is what you were signing up for or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to deal with any of the presentation or anything,
Okay.
It was just take your vacation, and, I have been to one. When my parents, when I was a kid, we went to one and down at Disney World, and, they had you set up, the kids could go play arcade games and whatnot while they try to, sucker your parents into buying one, and my dad told me it was just the highest pressure sales pitch ever, and basically, they were pissed that he didn't take the deal. He just give me the tickets to Disney World. We sat for your presentation. See you later.
Yeah,
get involved.
Look, if you take advantage of someone else's timeshare, fantastic.
Good for you.
Never anything I'd invest in.
No.
There's just no way.
Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
And by the way, why is it always such a long-ass presentation? Right? Why are there so many, no one just does a timeshare. Hey, man, this is where we have properties. If you're interested, let us know. Oh, no. You need 45 to 90 minutes to explain all this. I'm like, the longer it takes you to explain something, the less likely I am to believe you. Whatever. If you talk to your kid.
Are kind of like cruises, though. I know people that have them and love them. Same thing with cruises. It seems very cut and dry.
Yeah, I will say this as far as cruises go. And a lot of it depends on the type of person you are. You guys know me well enough to know that initially, when a cruise was brought up to me, especially like Caribbean cruise, Alaskan cruise, but you're just stuck on the boat with these people I don't know who probably are not my type of people for a long time. And that's instantly what I said. So there's nothing wrong with people. There's something wrong with me. I understand that, but I still don't need to be trapped on the boat. So my friend just said, look, if we do this Mediterranean one, he goes, all you need to know is every day we're at a different part of the coast. So really, by the time you get back to about 5:30, take a shower, grab dinner, it's nighttime, just go to the bar and drink. And I would recommend that to anyone. But the flip side is a lot of people like stuff like the Disney cruises, where you want to take advantage of their, water parks and all that. Then don't bother to do that one. If it's about being on the boat, don't bother with the one that's port of call every day, because it'll mess with your mojo. And then someone like me, I need to get the hell off the boat every day and get some me time.
Yes. Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Like I said that, though. There's nothing wrong with everybody else. The problem's with me.
And typically they're on the move late at night. So you
woke up.
Much
you were
like
already
taking
in
a
port of
train
call.
down to L.A. or whatever. You get on the train, you wake up, and
you're there.
You're close to being there.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
I'm here, yep.
Hello, Harrison. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola!
Hola!
Hey, Miles, congrats on quitting smoking.
It's been 16 days, man. I'm hanging in there.
Hey, you're doing good, brother.
Yeah!
Smoking that weed.
Hey.
Yeah, cigarettes. It should be noted.
I smoked a ton of weed and I'm not upset.
Hey, so, yes, I got fired from the first job I ever had when I was 15. Or I was 14, 15-ish. Anyway, I got paid to walk dogs for a kennel. And what I'd do is I'd walk the dogs to my parents' house, put them in their dog kennel at the house, and then just go play video games, and then bring them back after the hour walk I was supposed to do. But,
Can't believe you got fired. That is so unfair.
Well, no, I went on vacation for 2 weeks to Hawaii, and I didn't know that you're supposed to tell your employer that you're going on vacation. So I came back, and my job was fulfilled by a different person.
I bet it was. Yeah.
Even at the age of 15, it did not occur to you to let them know that they're not going to see you for, 10 business days or whatever?
I was having a good time. I was bodyboarding.
Dumbass.
Man, now, look.
On someone else's dime.
If I'm going to lose my job because on someone else's dime, I got to go to Hawaii, so be it. There's worse problems.
Oh, yeah. I quit a job like that, too.
And it's not like you were doing the job anyway.
I was
Goddamn, man.
volunteering at
3 weeks is a long vacation.
That is.
Volunteering at a student television station in college.
All right.
They were doing a show. They basically, if you looked up at a monitor in the school, they had their own channel. And they would run various different programming based on all kinds of stuff, whether it was classes that were available or announcements or all that stuff. So it was one of those kind of shows, but I volunteered to help one of the guys out as a camera operator.
All right.
So I was a camera operator on this show. So I told Chuck about 3 weeks, and I was doing this a couple times a week for free. And it was easily 2 to 3 hours worth of work. And I said, hey, Chuck, man, I'm not going to be able to make it on Saturday because I'm going to go to a concert in Pittsburgh. And he said, if you go to the concert in Pittsburgh, I'm firing your ass. I was like, you can't fire me. You don't pay me. I said, I just won't show up anymore. He's like, all right then, man, you're fired. I mean, you mean to tell me I give you 3 weeks notice? I'm going to see Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and Faith No More.
That was the tour.
And I have tickets for this. And you're going to tell me that because I show up for free and volunteer, if I don't show up that day, suck it.
Right. Yeah, that's
get down on it. Shut up.
You don't pay me.
Right.
You're upset at me. All right. Okay.
Right, and at that age,
he was just mad. He was just pissed because his girlfriend liked me.
Well, I was to say, at that age, too, it's easier to do that stuff.
So guess what I did one night to get back at him?
What did you do?
His girlfriend.
Oh.
Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Mark. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, how you doing? Hola.
Hola.
Oh, so, about 9 hours ago, we walked into work this morning, and they said, you guys were all pretty much fired. We're closing our doors May 31st.
Also, they're closing at the end of the month. It had nothing to do with you.
Well, yeah, we're all union, so maybe it did. I don't know. We had a meeting it. They let us have a meeting on. They let us have a meeting on Saturday, and we're supposed to have a new contract in June. And maybe that. They sold the property.
Once again, bedroom colors. Here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now back to the program.
People who get fired, though, do like to cuss.
Yeah, that is for sure.
That's pretty common.
Yeah.
It does.
Especially day off.
Yeah.
Like, if you know you're going to get fired, go ahead and do
You're
it.
a little hot.
If you don't, yeah.
Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Leonard. Welcome to the men's room.
Uh-oh.
Leonard, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hola.
There he is.
Hola, how you doing?
We're doing great, Leonard. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I got fired from Home Depot, what do you call it, DFC. When I first applied for the job, this guy named Matt says, oh, you got to pass a background check and a drug screen. No problem. The background check was great. The drug screen came back, positive for marijuana. Shocking. But anyway, I get an email that says, "Oh, welcome to the team. Congratulations. Your start date is such and such." I'm thinking, great. I go in, I do my 30 hours of orientation, and then I start my second week, and they train me on the pacer forklift, stand-up forklift, and the clamp. I get certified for that. I'm learning everything, and I'm thinking, this is great. Well, at the end of my second week, I get called into HR, and the guy says, this Alex dude says, "Oh, we have to terminate you. You failed your drug screen." I said, "What do you mean, failed my drug screen?" I said, "The only thing that would be in there would be marijuana." And he says, "Oh, well, they don't tell us what is in what they find." I said, "Excuse me, yes, they do." And he says, "Oh, well, we go by this federal standards." I said, "Okay, well, fine." Now, if you'd have told me this in the first place, I wouldn't have quit my other job.
Oh, so they put you through training and everything, but ultimately, because of that failed urine test, you shouldn't even have been in the building.
Oh, well, they did the mouth swab.
Whatever.
According to their rules, I shouldn't have been hired until they got it. And
that's correct.
The surprising thing was, 30 days after I did the test, they get the results. I'd already been to work it for 2 weeks.
So you got to wonder how many other people, not just Home Depot, but I mean, any company
wasting the resources.
Right. Any company that does that, you go like, right, I assume if you're taking a drug test, you don't want me to test positive for anything, but assuming that is the case, why don't you wait until you get the results? Because it's just the point of, especially if you're quitting a job to go to this. Mm-hmm. It's good to know. I've only had one place, and I could not believe it. First of all, if you work in a restaurant, if people aren't on drugs, don't eat there. I assume everyone there is on drugs. But I was in New Orleans in particular. Great interview. The woman says, "Hey, man, I want to hire you. I like you a lot. We just got along." She goes, "But one last thing, we do a drug test. Is that going to be a problem?" What's her words? And I said, "It will not be a problem for me, but you might not like what it is you'll see on there." And she goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, honest to God." I said, "But hey, because now I realize I'm probably not going to get the job." She looked disappointed because she genuinely liked me, but you got to stick with policy. So I said, "Look, to show you what a good employee I am, I can save you guys $150 on a lab test and just tell you what you find." Because you said it costs $150 to do this.
What do you want?
I can save you the $150 and tell you exactly what you'll find in my system.
And who to buy it from.
Right. I got it all, man.
What
Don't
do you
worry
need?
about it. Yeah. Did not get the job, but I tried.
Why were you or someone else fired? Well, you don't want to work in that place because there's not drugs there. Especially in the kitchen.
You're not kidding. Seriously. I mean, like...
Why would you want to work... If you're working in the kitchen, why would you want to work in a kitchen where there's nobody on drugs?
Because most of the kitchens I worked in... I mean, I know how it sounds, but honest to God, most of the kitchens I work... It is long hours. It's hot as... It's like working in Death Valley, right? But you just stand on your feet, work 12, 16 hours. So at some point, either you smoked weed to calm down when it gets super busy and things just go wrong, because that's just how it goes, right? Or everyone's out there blowing lines to get the energy to go through the next 8 hours of your shift.
Right. Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
I'm sure there's still drugs in that kitchen. They just had to do the test.
Yeah, I wonder if it was one of those deals where if you pass it, they go like, "Look, can you just go 30 days, get the job, then we don't care anymore?"
I would imagine. I feel like that,
I should have asked that, but you should have been with me, Ted. Hey, ask her that.
What if I come back in 29 days from now?
Right.
Then can we do it?
Yeah, can we give it a shot? Hello, Joseph. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So it's 2010, and I was working at Jack in the Box in Sumner. I was only 20 years old, and me and my buddy, because it was just the two of us that night, were trying to win the Cannibal Corpse tickets that Metal Shop was giving away. So we decided to close the drive-thru down, blocked it off, and we went up to the roof, and we were smoking a couple bowls while we tried to win these tickets. And we actually did win the Cannibal Corpse tickets up at El Segundo.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, but somebody called and complained that they saw us up there on the roof smoking weed, and when I came in the next day, I was fired.
Based on the Jack in the Box commercials, that had to be a while ago.
Oh, yeah, this was 2010.
I was going to say, because Jack in the Box has come full circle. They basically gear their ads to you, the person on the roof, smoking weed, trying to win the tickets.
That's exactly what they advertise
for.
for.
Advertising campaign, for the most part, is
you. Right.
It is, but also their business model is we need to be open so those people can eat the food.
Exactly.
That is true, man. The stoners are the big money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right? Like, it's not lost on them. They're just like, well, the stoners are here, and you guys are up there getting stoned.
Fourth meal.
I'm glad you won the Cannibal Corpse tickets. Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah, I actually got to meet Corpse Grinder. It was awesome.
See, man?
It was
All
one
right.
of the best mosh pits of my life.
Nice.
There you go.
That's a great venue, too.
The experience will be worth it.
One more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Why were you or someone else fired? 206-421-ROCK.
Quick side note. Would you eat a sandwich called the Corpse Grinder?
Sure.
Would you eat the Hope Solo at Arby's?
Oh, God.
27 ounces of meat.
Oh, man.
Hello, Adam. Welcome to the men's room.
Oh, my God, dude. So I'm like 17. Hola, bitches.
Hola.
I'm like 17, 18 years old. And my dad was in the Air Force, so 25 years. And so, we move around. On the Air Force base, there's these base exchanges, which are essentially like a Target, right? Or like a Fred Meyer.
Okay.
And so I get hooked up with a job at the base exchange because my girlfriend, her dad was an OSI agent, which is the Office of Security Intelligence. He was the Office of Security Intelligence agent for the base. There was some kind of stealing going on from the BX. They were stealing all kinds of like stereo equipment and expensive stuff. And so they were pawning it off or whatever. I had no clue. I'm like 17, just out of high school, and he puts me there to like observe. Well, he put basically like a blind parrot in place to like observe. So, I'm observing, but then one day the dudes that are doing this stuff get pulled out of the BX, get arrested, sent to jail, and I go over to the local base jail where they are because I'm naive and stupid, and I go like, hey, I'm a dude. I was just working with him. He's okay. Like, it's all cool. I had no clue. And they're like, why are you here? Are you part of this? Or the next day I go in the morning and they fire me straight up. They're just like, no, you're fired, dude. And
I think they just fired you for being young and stupid.
Yeah, I think that is, they can't say that.
You're security and you're here because of that, and you still didn't pick up on what they were doing? Oh, God. Oh, God. Ryan Castle coming up will sit and spin with 10 songs you did not know were written about a celebrity. You are listening to The Men's Room.